This is right above the sliding door. Right here we have a 12-volt distribution panel, which will take care of most of the things on this side of the van. And above here we're going to place the control panel. And I've cut this out of cardboard as a template to be sure everything will fit. And we're going to have 5 switches, our Victron battery monitor, and the control for the Victron inverter. So as I always say, you know, cardboard is king. Doing it out of cardboard first really does help. For example, you know, I'd like the distance between these two to be about the same, and it's not quite right. So that's going to get moved over a little bit. Simple little things like that the cardboard helps with. Another quick tip, just as I was doing it, I thought I'd turn the camera on and give you this idea. If you have one of these jump starters, it's a great way, a very easy way to test out parts of your electrical system. I just connected the jump starter to the fuse block, and I've got my switches here, and I can test each one of these out. For example, the shower pump. Not sure if you can hear that, but that's the shower pump running, and the sink, that's running. It's not connected. It's not connected to the water yet, but I just connected to the pump so that I could hear it run and know that everything is working. The ball valves, they work. I'm sure you can't hear that, but the ball valves are working. So I know this switch panel works and everything is properly connected by simply just using this little battery jump starter to test out this part of the system. Another thing which I'm sure I've covered in other videos or will in the future is if you're running strips of LED that are 12 volts, if you want to test out your connections that you've made, you can simply just use a 9-volt battery, and that's enough to be able to see if those LEDs are lighting. I'm going to explain how I modified a switch to meet my needs. What I wanted was to be able to turn on the kitchen light when I entered the van and shut it off from the bed. Now, my wife thinks this is a little crazy since that's not very far away, but electrically it's very easy. This diagram shows the wiring, and that blue line is the long wire from one switch to the other. All you need is 2 single-pole double-throw switches. The only problem was I wanted it to fit in that nice aluminum bracket, and the only switch I could find had a center off position. So to make it do what I wanted to do, I needed to remove the center off position. Notice the switch has 3 positions: on, off, on. We don't want that center position. We need to eliminate that because we want it to be on, without the ability to get stuck in the center. The problem is it could end up in the off position, and then the light would not work and we would not be able to turn it on from either switch. So we're going to modify this switch so that it loses that center off position. I carefully pried the switch open with a utility knife. This is the top of the switch. That silver part is spring-loaded and pushes down on the contactor. Inside the switch, you can see this diamond-shaped metal piece that moves back and forth, making the contacts. That piece has an angle to it that makes the switch stop in the center. See that bend? That's the way it was in the switch. We need to eliminate that bend so that the switch does not stop in the center. And that's pretty easy by simply squeezing it between a pair of pliers and flattening it out. Then I return that piece to the switch. I reassembled the switch, and now it no longer stops in the center position. Now it's just on and on. If you don't already have a handheld label maker, I highly recommend it. By having this right by your side in the van, it makes it quick and easy to make labels for all kinds of things on your van, especially when you run all your wires. When you run your wires, as they're run, label each one so you know what it goes to. This one, sink LED. Then, after you've done that, you'll see this label will easily peel off. After you run that, then take and put some heat shrink tubing, clear heat shrink tubing, over the label and shrink it on there. And that will make it watertight, and it'll keep that label on there. It'll save you a lot of time when you're trying to do some troubleshooting down the road, or it makes confusion a lot less when you're trying to add a new wire to the system. Now from this switch block right here, all the wires are connected with the Wago connector, and they all go to this fuse box. All right, this fuse block right here, I use that label maker, and I made a nice little label that goes all the way across, labeling each one of the fuses. And then I'll make myself a little chart to tell me what fuse goes to what and what the amperage of the fuses needs to be. And this fuse block goes right up above the sliding door on the van. And then there is a panel that covers it. But that panel only has 2 screws. I can take it right off and add something to the system anytime I want. It makes it really easy. You can see there's 12 connections here, and right now I've only used 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6 of them so far. And right now I'm actively, as you can see the screws are missing, I'm actively adding and finishing this up. So just a few hints. Hopefully some of these thoughts and ideas will help you out in your van build. Please give this a video a thumbs up if you liked it. Subscribe, and hopefully you'll see me back on the next video. Thanks for watching.